Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we've got a fascinating and rapidly unfolding situation on our hands with Minnesota Gophers quarterback Drake Lindsey. We're going to contrast his massive, skyrocketing athletic rise with a sudden off-field stumble. We'll cut straight through the noise to look directly at the facts, the stats, and the actual institutional rulebook that dictates exactly what happens next. Here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, a rising star. Number 2, the off-field stumble. Number 3, the Gopher Code. And finally, number 4, potential consequences. Section 1, a rising star. The undisputed talent of the Gophers' starting quarterback. Before we can really grasp the gravity of his current situation, we have to recognize just how incredibly valuable he is to the Minnesota football program. As a senior at Fayetteville High School down in Arkansas, Lindsey threw a mind-blowing 52 touchdown passes. That's a school and a 7A state record. He paired that with nearly 4,000 passing yards and, get this, just 2 interceptions all season long. It was a staggering performance that led to an undefeated state championship, earned him the Arkansas Gatorade Player of the Year, and immediately put him on the radar for top-tier collegiate programs. His high school coach, Brett Hobbs, emphasized one thing above all else: his exceptional decision-making abilities. Coach Hobbs noted that Lindsey acts like an extra coach out there on the field, staying super calm in the pocket and keeping his eyes downfield. On the gridiron, Lindsey is highly praised for his pristine judgment. Keep that exact phrase, "makes great decisions," in the back of your mind, because it's going to create a pretty sharp contrast with the events we're about to explore. And he has completely lived up to that hype at the collegiate level, too. We're talking about a classic 6'5", 230-pound pocket passer who's stepping into his redshirt sophomore season as the unquestioned starting quarterback for the Gophers. The arm talent is absolutely real. He was out there throwing 74-yard bombs in the recent spring game. Experts like Nate Tice are already projecting him as a top NFL prospect, literally ranking him 24th on his 2027 draft big board and comparing him to big-armed legends like Drew Bledsoe. The runway for a massive football career is perfectly cleared. Section 2, the off-field stumble. Friday's arrest in Fayetteville. So that track record of great on-field decision-making hit a really sudden roadblock back in his hometown of Fayetteville, Arkansas. According to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, things moved fast. Lindsey was booked into the county jail at 1:13 a.m. Central Time early Friday morning. He spent the night in custody, was released shortly after sunrise at 8:28 a.m. on a $470 bond, and now he has a court appearance looming on the calendar for June 1st. The Fayetteville Police Department cited him for 2 pending charges. Charge 1, minor in possession of alcohol. Charge 2, possession of fraudulent identification. The facts on the record are clear as day. The starting quarterback of a major Big Ten university has been illegally cited for underage drinking and carrying a fake ID. Now, Lindsey is 20. He actually turns 21 in August. But as we all know, in the eyes of the law, close doesn't count. Until his birthday actually arrives, he falls strictly under the legal definitions regarding underage alcohol possession. Section 3, the Gopher Code. Institutional rules and expectations. So, what happens when the law intersects with the student handbook? Being a student-athlete at a major institution is a massive privilege. When you're the starting QB at a Big Ten school, you are literally the public face of the university. The university knows its athletes are in this huge spotlight, and because of that, they have incredibly formal, documented guidelines that players are required to follow. The Student-Athlete Handbook explicitly defines this code of conduct. It clearly outlines the expectation that student-athletes represent themselves, their team, and the university with honesty, integrity, and character. Crucially, it mandates that athletes abide by all city, state, and federal laws. The handbook specifically points out that the actions of one player reflect on the entire department. So, when a player allegedly breaks a state law, like possessing a fraudulent ID, they are directly violating this foundational code. Drilling down a bit further into the alcohol and drug consumption section, the rules are just black and white. It states, quote, student-athletes under the legal age to consume are expected to abide by city, state, and federal laws. The use of alcohol by student-athletes under 21 is simply prohibited, full stop. Section 4, potential consequences. What the handbook dictates next. A Gopher spokesperson has already publicly stated that they're aware of the situation and will address it internally. But look closely at this really vital procedural detail from the handbook. Quote,
Team or athletics department disciplinary sanctions may be imposed in advance of any campus disciplinary and/or criminal actions. This is huge because it means the athletics director and the head coach do not have to wait for Lindsay's June 1st court date. They don't have to wait for a judge's ruling. They have the autonomous power to enforce sanctions right now based on the citation alone.
So, what could those internal sanctions actually look like? Well, the possible punishments run a very wide spectrum. For underage drinking and legal infractions, it could start right at the educational level with a simple verbal or written warning, or mandatory educational sessions. It could trigger a health-based response, requiring an assessment or treatment. But it can also escalate severely into the athletic and financial realms. The handbook lists suspension from the team, loss of eligibility, or even complete dismissal from the team. At the absolute extreme end, a student-athlete could face the loss of their athletic scholarship or be dismissed from the university entirely. Drake Lindsay absolutely has a golden arm, a brilliant high school record of making great decisions on the field, and a massive runway straight toward the NFL. But as we wait to see exactly how the University of Minnesota applies its strict code of conduct, it leaves us pondering that incredibly fragile balance between immense collegiate sports potential and the heavy weight of personal off-field choices. Will a momentary lapse in judgment derail a multi-million-dollar arm? Thanks for watching this explainer, and we'll just have to see what play the Gophers call next.